Are you satisfied with your understanding of sustainability? If you are not, imagine a journey together, a pluralistic one, with academia, innovators, startups, NGOs, all looking for solutions to the greatest challenge of our time. My name is Samuele Tini, and this is the Sustainability Journey. Welcome to the 12th episode of the podcast, and today we are going far north. We are going to meet the director of the Sustainability Center at the University of Iceland. It's a very difficult name. I hope, correct me if I make a mistake. If Hafdís Hanna Ægisdóttir, who has a very long experience in sustainability. She is a recognized expert, and she will tell us all the story and the work she has been doing as a practitioner, as a leader with farmers from all over the world and from people in environmental conservation, land restoration, and also as a woman leader in her field. So it's a great pleasure to have you here. Thank you, Hafdís Hanna, to be here.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Anna, can you tell us your background, your story? Because it's a wonderful journey and how you end up in sustainability.
I'm a biologist by training, my bachelor and my master's degree at the University of Iceland. But during my master's degree, I was also at the University of Copenhagen in Denmark. And then I was studying plants. So I was, during my bachelor years, when I was doing my bachelor in biology, I was studying really biology in general, but focusing on environmental issues, actually going into botany or plant ecology. So during my master's degree, I was studying plants and how they respond to environmental changes or like climate change. So I was in Denmark studying it, in Iceland, and in the field trips, I was in Greenland, in West Greenland, and in Svalbard. And then I went to Switzerland, to Basel, at the University of Basel, to do my PhD. That was 2003 to 2007. There I also continued studying plant ecology, and not Arctic, but Alpine, which is, kind of similar. So I was studying the reproductive systems and genetic diversity within Arctic plant populations. Also, during my PhD years, I also went to the Galapagos Islands with a Danish research group. Such an adventure. It was amazing. We went to different places. We're looking at the vegetation and seeing how plants evolve at the mainland of Ecuador compared to Galapagos. And then when I came back to Iceland in the early 2008, it was great to study plant ecology and the small alpine and Arctic plants, but I somehow really wanted to broaden my field. So I started working for some months in a landscape project here at the University of Iceland, which was more like an interdisciplinary project, combining biologists, geographers, also some people studying philosophy. And so we went into the field, we were mapping and looking at landscapes in Iceland. So that was for a few years. So I was starting to, liking, working with different people, from different disciplines. And then in 2008, I started working then for the land restoration training program, which was then under the United Nations University. And it now just very recently working with UNESCO instead of the United Nations University. But I was a director of that program, the UN University Land Restoration Training Program, from 2008-09 until last year, 2020. So I was there for 12 years. And that was an amazing job. So that program is about training specialists from developing countries. We are mostly working with some countries in sub-Saharan Africa, like Niger, Ghana, Uganda, Ethiopia, Lesotho, Malawi, and then also in Central Asia, Mongolia, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. So it is an institutional capacity building program on land restoration and sustainable land management, because we have this long history in Iceland of land degradation, then also land restoration. We lost nearly all our forests, and we have a big land degradation problems in Iceland, and then also 100 years of experience really addressing the land degradation and restoring the great ecosystem. And we are still, have not solved all our challenges in that regard, but, we have some experience that we wanted to share with the world, and we also wanted to learn from our partner countries. Those specialists came then to Iceland for 6 months and are still doing so for a capacity building program, and then go back when they are all working professionals, working for ministries and universities, research institutions, etc. in their countries, and then they come to Iceland for 6 months and go back and share their knowledge and experiences. And then also in this program, we have short courses in our partner countries, etc. And during those years at that program as a director, I visited, our partner countries. I got to know the people, the challenges they were facing, the nature. And what I was so amazed about was how similar it is. Although, we are all on this earth together and we all facing the more or less the same challenges when it comes to land. Although, of course, we come from different countries. Some of us are more fortunate in regards to like jobs or healthcare and so on. But in general, with the nature, why land is degraded and how we then restore degraded lands, it's much more similar than we think.
Wow, that's a great experience. It's really give the holistic view, we can say, of how we are interconnected in the life of art. It's really what you say struck me.
It did, exactly. And then another thing that really had a big influence on me is back in 2018-19, I participated in an international leadership program for women in STEM. It's called Homeward Bound. It was a year-long program online, and then we had like 4 weeks on a ship in Antarctica. We went to the Antarctic Peninsula, and it was just amazing. And that also had like a huge influence on me, seeing both, having then visited all those countries, both my own home country and then in Africa and Central Asia, and then going and seeing the effect that climate change has on a pristine environment like Antarctica, where you've never had any industry there, or not like a settlement. There are some researchers and adventurers who have been there, but you never like a town or anything like that. So it's but still we see the effect on the nature, and just being with a group of women and all of that. So I decided then to, after 12 years at the in this amazing job, and it was a really hard decision because it was I had wonderful co-workers, everything was going well, but I just felt in myself, okay, now it's a time to for a new step, a new challenge in my life. I was a consultant just for months for the Ministry for Foreign Affairs in Iceland, and then I'm now like the director of the Institute for Sustainability Studies, which is located at the University of Iceland. So that's a new challenge and task that I've taken on. So I'm really excited for that new journey.
Wow, you have a very impressive, you can see you are recognized expert on sustainability, and especially I really loved what you said, the commonality of the challenges and the impact that climate change and the fact that we are going beyond the planetary boundaries is affecting also ecosystems which are untouched. As you said, Antarctica, it should be a pristine area, no human there, no town, no development, no any industry, and yet you see this issue. So it's really something that we are well beyond the planetary boundary. And I remember now I think it's some years now that the paper was published. So and we are still not doing enough. And also the fact that women in STEM is such an important part, because we know we are underrepresented and often they face barrier in the STEM disciplines because of history, because of some prejudice. So it's very important also for young girls to have a role model like you to be possible, to see and succeed in these disciplines, because we need also, your expertise. And I think it will add a lot of value in the future. I want to ask you, maybe, you had also from your land restoration program a wonderful TED talk that will also be part maybe of the posting and for the listeners. I want to ask maybe, which is your definition of sustainability, and especially with your work at the grassroots level with all these people from all over the world? What have you taken out of that, and how we can really foster sustainability in a proactive way, especially look at the land?
So sustainability is such a big word, and of course, it comes from that we are, sustainability is focusing on, meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. And we have these three pillars: the economic, environmental, and social. But what I actually think in that regard and how I see sustainability is that I see the economic part and the social part, the ecological part, all within one circle, which is the earth, like the environment. We cannot have a viable economy or a justice societies if we don't live within the planetary boundaries, if we don't have a healthy planet. And I've seen that during my travels and my work, that it's so important. Like if you have a land that is degraded and you don't have any food that you can grow on your land, and you have overgrazing, or you are cutting the forests and you're losing biodiversity, the plants and animals, and then you have a drought or a flood coming because of, climate change, then you cannot, then the justice, or, you're just thinking of you and your family. Then we have problems with like food security, and, we have seen that in research that, more conflicts and migration within countries and between countries. So it's so important to have like the earth within the earth system. We cannot go out of that, but that, of course, it is all linked. So if we want to have healthy societies where people are happy and are able to meet their needs, both in terms of not only food and shelter, but education and health system, we have to have a healthy planet. So that is, I see it from that perspective. But really, we also have to, take the people and in the picture. We cannot have, we are a part of nature. We are a part of the earth. We're not some, on the side or outside it. So we have to think of ourselves as a part of the system.
I think you touched a point that I really share with you, because without that vision, overall vision of the planetary boundary and the art, everything we do is just a small mitigation and some small plaster here and there, rather than, holistically tackle. Let me ask you this question. More and more, even in the business world, we are reading, even in the Financial Times today, we are pledging towards reduction. We are pledging towards that. We will do this and that. So, but how we can attain this objective of being within the limit of the art, and how we can, which is the strategy which really can not only mitigate but regenerate. This is the decade of ecosystem restoration. How we can make it.
Exactly, this decade now, 2021 to 2030, is such an important decade. Both in regards to climate change and what we need to do to adapt to and mitigate climate change, but also it is the decade that the UN is focusing on ecosystem restoration. And in that regard, I think working together, we need to work together. And I think, of course, we have the world leaders and the state leaders, the big companies. Everybody has to be involved, and they have to kind of lead it. Of course, then we have all the individuals and small companies and all of that, together. But what I find so important, and what I learned from my work with people from all over the world, is that there's no one size fits all. So we have. And that is what we are teaching the people, the specialists in the land restoration training program, is that we cannot have recipes for each country. So we have to teach people really the background and give them a leadership training and a background on everything that is how you restore degraded land, how you address climate change, and how you work with protecting animals and plants. But there might be different solutions for each country, and that everybody, you need to really work from the grassroots and up. So really, talk to the poor farmers who are living on the land, what is their experience, but also talk to the scientists and listen to the scientists. Talk to the policymakers. What are they learning from the process? Involve everybody, women and men and people from different countries and continents. Don't think we can do this unless we do it together and we listen to everybody and we find a common solution. It's maybe easier said than done, but of course somebody needs to take the lead, and there has to be maybe a lead. Then I think about restoring degraded ecosystems, protecting biodiversity and climate change. So we need to work on this all together, and combining also these three issues, so they're not in silos. So that is also important, that we think of this holistically, but also we need somebody to take the lead, and then we need some courageous leaders, world leaders. Yeah,
that is incredible. For me, that is the bringing together people. That is the spirit of the SDG 17. We need a goal for the partnership, because that is where I think everybody can come together. As a practitioner, as an expert, and now in the academia, which is the contribution of the academia, and especially in that regard of the Center for Sustainability Studies that you lead, how you can foster, and which is your impact and which is your goal on that?
I'm new at the Institute for Sustainability Studies here at the University of Iceland, and of course then I'm located within the academia at the university. And I think the academia is really important to do the research on sustainable development, bring people together, but not only that the science from the academia then gives the policy, the science policy interface. It's not only that, but also that we co-create the knowledge. It goes both ways, and so we have this dialogue between the academia to policymakers to the companies who are working on this, so that we all work together. But it's really important that people listen to science, and I think we learned that at least I can see that here in Iceland and in many other countries, that we have to listen to scientists and take their views, take the research and see what are the newest research, what is the research telling us. And we saw that during the COVID times now, that those countries that were listen to the scientists actually been doing quite well. So compared to maybe some other countries where they did not listen to the scientists. So that is important. But at the Institute for Sustainability Studies, we're not only thinking of sustainability there as a natural sciences, but we are looking at all aspects of sustainability, and we want to like catalyze and facilitate and coordinate like research to promote sustainable development to address these challenges that we're facing now. So we are working with all the different schools at the university, the social sciences, the natural sciences, like the education. So with this real and interdisciplinary approach that we are taking, because sustainability needs that everybody are involved. We really need everybody on board. So we're both working within the university, working with the different disciplines and different schools, but also then I see the Institute as a hub like for sustainability in both within Iceland and hopefully in the future also, on a more global level. So both working within the university, but also with the society outside of the university, like, having this dialogue to the government, to the municipalities, for the companies, to the individuals. That is how I see like our work, and I'm really excited. Of course, I'm a new director, so we are still like working on our policy and so on. But working with different disciplines, how we promote sustainability, how we do the research, but also how we support like the UN decades that are coming up, how we support the different challenges that are coming up, and what we're also interested in, how we combine arts and sciences, and how we can really promote the sustainable development goals and sustainability in general with arts. So how can we use the arts to help us promote or teach about sustainability? Yeah, so that is a lot of different things that we can do.
Wow. No, I really picked something very important. I like the holistically, all the aspects, not just the confining yourself in one branch, but in the holistic way, and also going outside and tell people, I really like the fact that you talk with the government, talk with people, and maybe also the younger generation would be a wonderful area, because those are the ones that really will inherit this planet. And I think you are doing also a very good job with them.
Yeah, we are also like now, we just started a program that is together with, we are three focus, the Institute is a part of that, what is called the Climate Leader. So that is where we are working with people who are 18 to 25 years old. So we are actually, these are the people who are, like taking over and will be the future leaders. So we are teaching them about climate change and how it's all combined with biodiversity and land degradation and land restoration, but also, taking them on a journey in Iceland, like an excursion, really, with backpack and everything. So it's a leadership journey also. So we are really like also focusing on the younger people.
That reminds me of your journey, with the backpack in Iceland, to really see the effect of the deforestation and the work that you are doing also for restore an island that was heavily anthropic pressure from the early settlement. So, and really this leads me also to your journey, as a woman, as a leader, how it relate your leadership and all the work that you have done, and which are the lessons that maybe you can give, especially to women that want to enter this field of sustainability and become a leader like you.
I just say, like, go for it, like go and seek your dreams, go and first of all, find the field that you're interested in. I tell both women and men that everybody should just follow their dreams, follow what they, find their passion and follow that passion. Study what you're interested in, and then don't let people, tell you that you cannot do it because of this and that, because you're a woman or a girl, or you go, and there are a lot of people there who support you. On the way, seek also then, contact people, contact women that you find interesting or doing something, and seek for advice, or just, always just don't let people tell you to do something otherwise. And also what I've seen is that, it is so important, just what I said earlier, that everybody are involved, like men and women and people from different countries. So we all have so much to share. And if you have only a very just, for example, only men of certain age, or only, from this country, people from this country, men and women. And so then we are not getting the whole picture. We're all learning together. And I think that both men and women can learn so much from each other. So it's a win-win for all, I think. And I've also just seen because we're working with land, what I have been working with, are the ecosystem, the land ecosystems. For example, in many of our partner countries in Africa, women are so important. They are the ones who work on the land usually. So we need, to hear their voices, what is important, why are you doing this and not that? So I just tell every girl or woman who is listening, just, find your passion and seek out those who you need support from, and don't let anything stop you.
I think one of the person they can seek advice is you, because you have done, I think we will put also your link to your profiles, because you have done a lot and you have really grasped, especially I liked when the recognition of the African women, because the women are the backbone of agriculture in Africa. The production is actually on their shoulder, and literally on their shoulder, because they move the firewood and everything. So it's really it's part of also what I see every day. So it's really important. Let me ask you, a last question, to give a message for sustainability. It's a buzzword. You are an expert on that. How we can rally? What is your message that you want to leave? What is your purpose? Because I think you found your ikigai. You are working in a field that you like, you're living out of it, and you are very good at it. How we can find our ikigai, and especially in sustainability, which is really your message that you want to give out?
My message is just, let's take down the silos. Let's work, across disciplines. And I think that is some challenge that is both within the academia and in other places. It's a big challenge for many of us. So, to really, I think, and take the, discuss with people. I think all the ideas that come with, they come through dialogue. And I think dialogue is so important, both, in terms of different fields talking together, or both in terms of disciplines, but also in terms of the private sector and the public sector and academia versus the government. But have a deep listening, really listen to people, not thinking about what you're going to say next, but really use grease your listening skills, if you can say so. Really think about, wow, this person has something interesting to say. What can I learn from this person? Show empathy. Think about all the good things that people are saying and what we have in common, not what is different from us. Both in terms of religion and gender, or background. Everybody has something to say. So if we are able to really take this further, showing the empathy, working together across disciplines, and then that we, I want to really, ask, the world leaders and, of the UN, and of course the states of the planets, the big companies, just they have to also to be courageous. And we then, all of us, needs to be courageous in telling them to be courageous. I think that is the way forward. I think we need to do this together and be courageous in taking those steps, think of and include everybody, leave no one behind. That is so important. So also when we are taking these, we need to do these drastic changes in our societies in the coming years if we are going to address the climate change and biodiversity crisis and so on. But then we have to think about, how will this affect the poorest people? How will this affect people differently from different countries and different social status? So we really need to, have everybody involved and do this, carefully and thoughtfully.
I think that is the courageous mind. We need to be courageous for this partisan. We need to be courageous with this decade. I think our generation, it is a crucial one and needs to be very, as you said, courageous. The courage. You have walked from the Svalbard Island to the Antarctica, to Niger, to the desert, to the Sahel region, to the Central Asia. You are a real courageous woman and a real example on how we can put purpose and really follow up our desire also to make an impact for sustainability and to save our planet and save the mankind, what is called the mankind, of what the human race. It depends on us. It's really important. Thank you. No, really, thank you for your words. Are you satisfied after this wonderful episode? In the next one, we will talk about project management and renewable energy. Stay tuned.